Black Ops 6 Zombies has a problem with gun variety per match. Now, I know that sounds uber specific and may not even make sense, but trust me, this is an issue that everybody watching this video has definitely dealt with. If you spent any time playing Black Ops 6 Zombies or even Cold War Zombies, it had this exact same problem too. And I think the best way to really explain this problem is to kind of put it in contrast to the older zombie system and how it would work. Because what I'm really talking about here is just being able to swap your gun mid-match. Because like in the old zombies game, how it would work, you got a gun that was good, not great, but you need to pack a bunch of it, right? So you went and spent 5,000 on that, and maybe you spent like 5,000 on the box 2 to get this good, not great gun. And you were using it for a while, but now you built up more points. And you're all like, well, I could actually get a better gun here, maybe even the wonder weapon. So potentially you spend like, maybe like, let's just say for an extreme example, like 10,000 points on the box, and then you went and pack punch it 2, which is going to cost you another 5,000. Now that's definitely not a cheap process. It's still going to take a lot of resources to put into that to actually swap over to that, but it's not an insane amount of points, right? It's not a crazy amount, unheard amount of points to put into this. But if you compare that to modern zombies, and especially Black Ops 6 zombies, you have to think about it. If you spent, on the extreme example, fully upgrading your gun, getting it to gold rarity and pack punching at level 3, that means you spent 7,500 salvage on it to fully upgrade it, which isn't as big of a deal because of reasons. But then the more important one is that you put 50,000 points into pack punching that. Because keep in mind, in this game, you have to pack a bunch it to level 1, 2, and 3. If you add all those points together, it's 50,000 points. So at that point, you're probably just stuck with that gun because it's just unrealistic to really spend that much time working on another gun. And the time part is a really big one because in my experience, it takes about till round 25 in order to fully upgrade your gun in this game. And that's a lot of time you spent on that to just now throw it away and swap it off with another gun, even a wonder weapon at that point. It just might not be worth it. Now, obviously, Treyarch aren't idiots. They thought about this, and I think this is another reason why the loadout system exists in their game, because they know that this is an expensive process. So maybe just give people the gun they want right from the get-go so they don't have to worry about spending money on getting the gun they specifically want, because now they'll just spend all the resources right at the start of the game for upgrading the gun they want from the start. And that's definitely a great way to alleviate at least some of the resources that you're putting into it. But the problem is that some people still need to swap off their guns mid-game, whether it be for the wonder weapon or even for camo grinders, and probably the main people who are affected by this, just people who finish up their camos mid-game. Like anybody who's done the camos in this game, you would know that, hey, I'm done with this camo and it's like round 25, 22 or something like that, and I want to start working on another one because I still have more time in this game. But most of the time, you just end game right there and you restart the game with a new gun that you're working on, instead of just continuing the game you're already in, because it's just too expensive to just start at that point to start working on an entirely new gun. And even if we're not looking at the extreme examples, like maybe your gun isn't gold pack punch level 3, but maybe it's blue or purple rarity and it's still pack punch level 2. You still add the points together for pack punch level 1 and 2, that's still 20,000 points you put into that gun. That's still a lot of points to just throw away. Now the salvage isn't as big of a deal because, as we know, with the mystery box and the wall buys, the rarities actually go up with the round, so it's not as big a deal for them. But especially the points is just such a hard thing to just give up after you put that much into it. And I know that everyone watching this video has experienced exactly that. Instead of just continuing the game you're already in, you completely restart it because it's just not worth it to start working on another gun that late in the game. And I know a lot of people just want to stop right there and say, yep, this is exactly why this new system is bad and why Treyarch should have never changed it or whatever like that. And sure, you could think like that if you want, but I like to think about in solutions for this, because I think that there is easy fixes for this to make this system just work a lot better. And you guys could share what you guys think Treyarch should do to fixes, but to me, it's pretty obvious. Because what I think what Treyarch could easily do is just let us swap over our pack punch levels to a new gun. Let's say you're done with one gun, you have an option to go up to a new gun, and you say, swap the pack punch level to this one. Now my pack punch is on this new gun instead of this older gun that I have no more use for. Like, imagine how useful that would be for any camo grinders. You're in round 25, you just finished up all your challenges on one gun, now you can swap to a new gun, easily swapping over its pack punch level to that new gun, and you could continue working on your challenges for that new gun. I think it'd be a great system. And just think of all the other possibilities and how this would affect, because like for casual players it could be great just for them to be able to use more guns per match, especially when they don't know what the best gun is, so they don't know which gun to bring in with their loadout. It could be a great system for them. But on top of that, think of all the strategies this could bring in. Maybe for speedrunners or just Easter egg strats where you could start off the game with one gun, upgrade it, but then maybe there's a gun that's really good at just doing the Easter egg steps, but then when it comes to boss fight, there's a better gun for the boss fight. So now when you're ready to go to the boss fight, you can just swap over your pack punch to that new gun. I think a system like that would be absolutely amazing for this game, and I can't even imagine what speedrunners would do with it too. I think a system like this would add a new layer of depth to the game, and on top of that, just make it a lot funner for casuals and even camo grinders too. And this is exactly what I want Treyarch to do. Maybe if Treyarch thinks it's too OP to swap over your current pack punch level to another gun, then maybe at least they can give us like previous pack punch level. Like, let's say you have a pack punch level 3 gun, and when you transfer your pack punch over to a new gun, maybe it's just a pack punch level 2 gun now. And same thing with the rarity, could work something like that, or they could throw rarity out entirely because it's not as big of a deal, because when you get into those higher rounds, your rarity is higher, like I said earlier. But just something, Treyarch, it would be really nice to have for everybody. Mainly, especially camo grinders, but I think for everybody would also benefit from a system like this. But that's just my thoughts on this system. But I'd love to hear you guys. Do you guys think this is a problem like I do? Do you guys like the solution I presented, or do you have your own? I'd love to hear all your thoughts and opinions on everything we talked about down in the comment section below. Regardless though, if you guys did find this video informative or just entertaining in any way, shape, or form, I'd appreciate if you guys drop a like, subscribe, bell, share, any of that great stuff. But I'm going to go, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.